and they said, none of us will ever return to this place. And they named the place Chirika, or among the dead, or among the ghosts. The story of the long walk among the Dene, or the Navajo people, occurred after 1863. Prior to that, we had the time when we were fighting with the Bluecoats. In the Nehbazad, or Navajo, they called them the Edotlij. And that lasted for several years, even after they had done the Scorched Earth campaign against the Dene around 1862. And our people finally ended up surrendering at various places as Fort Defiance and Fort Wingate, which is now near present-day Gallup, New Mexico. From there, they were forced to march to Fort Sumner, which is out there way beyond the Rio Grande and the over the Sandia Mountains and out into the land area towards what is present-day Oklahoma. It's over 300 and some odd miles, but anyway, they wasn't adequate transportation. They had lots of problems because these people had been starving for a couple of years, and many of them were not very healthy, and they were forced to march, and many of them died along the track. And they were there in prison for the 4 years from 1864 to 1868, and they had very little food rationing. I think there was only coffee, beans, rice, flour, and bacon. The people, while they were there, they didn't have medical care, and there was malnutrition, and they just had a very difficult time. The water was bad, it was alkaline, and the soil wouldn't grow anything, and so many of them perished, and I mean many of them. I think they estimate that at least 12,000 people died there, and when the Treaty of 1868 was signed, it was signed in June of 1868, and finally it was ratified by Congress on August the 12th of 1868, that the treaty was finally ratified by Congress. And then our people by that time had returned to a portion of the land that our people originally occupied. It was a very small portion, and the major portion was up around what is now present-day Shiprock, New Mexico, and then going south. But along the long walk, as many of them died, and as they were leaving the Fort Sumner, the Nat'ani, Nat'ayeda'anihi, those that knew and led, they made a prayer, and they did a ceremony where they took arrow points, and they made a line as they were leaving. They drew a line between themselves and Fort Sumner, or Huelte, and they said, none of us will ever return to this place. And they named the place Chirika, or among the dead, or among the ghosts of the dead. And so that was the story. But when our people returned, they recalled all of the ones that they had lost. But those that had survived the 4 years, they made a song. And the song is called Shinasha. Shinasha is a song that tells about surviving spiritually, surviving emotionally, surviving mentally, and surviving physically. Those are the 4 areas of our being. And so the song, in its original presentation, and the way that most people sing it, is you sing the 4 verses of the song, Shinasha. And they're identical, but everyone knows, and it should know, that the first verse deals with the spiritual self, the second is the emotional self, the third is the mental self, and finally the physical self. Shinasha. Many times people in great error say, me, I'm walking around. I guess if you walk around, you have survived, but the actual meaning of the song is, I have survived. Shinasha.